This is Michael with Clearview Sewer Cams. It is February 18th, 2021, and we are at 740 Medio Avenue, Pacific Palisades, California, 90272, performing a video sewer inspection through the 4-inch cast iron cleanout that is directly in front of the garage area. This is the front of the house, and this is going out toward the street. And we just hydrojetted the line. There's a lot of buildup in the cast iron, an extreme amount of buildup of corrosion and just scaling, and a whole lot of roots in the vitreous clay. So we're going to zero out our camera monitor right here, and we're going to insert our camera down into the cast iron riser, and we're showing our footage on our camera monitor at the left bottom left corner. We're going down our riser. We're going to have a little bit of just some debris from the roots. All that's loose. We try to flush it out. It takes a little bit to flush it out. And all the roots in here are loose. That root's loose. That was in the vitreous clay, but we're pulling it back. A lot of the stuff at the bottom is just loose, and that will wash through. There were no roots in the cast iron. Like I said, this is just roots that are loose. Continue out. We opened up a lot of the cast iron, and a lot better. And this is our cast iron to vitreous clay connection right at the sidewalk area at the property line. Now it's compacted with roots. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little tiny bit of an offset, but not bad. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. We don't try to blow all of the roots out of the joints. If we overdo it, get overzealous with the hydrojetter, we can damage the joint. So we try to find that happy medium in there and clean the joints out without damaging the pipe. This area had quite a bit of roots in there and looks pretty good now. A little bit of an offset, needs to be cleaned up with some root X. And we do have a joint. We have a joint here in the vitreous clay. You can see it does go all the way around the pipe. Kind of a jagged joint. Wasn't cut great, but when it was installed, but appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little bit of concrete overpour right there in that joint. A little bit of an offset in there. Again, not terrible. Coming up to another joint. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We're out in the street now. A little bit of an offset. Had some roots in there, but the joint is not broken or really separated or really offset. Had quite a bit of roots in this joint. Needs to be maintained periodically with some root X and maybe hydrojetted every 2-3 years, as well as that joint. Just needs to be maintained. With the root X, it will burn the roots back to the joint, which will really help quite a bit. Now we do have a crack in the bottom of this section, which we are out in the street. There's a pretty good crack right in the bottom of that pipe, and you can see it at about the 2 o'clock area. You see a little glob of something, and as we get closer you can see the crack. It goes all the way to the edge of the pipe. It would be best to install a CIPP cured in place piping liner in this section of pipe to keep it from breaking further and possibly collapsing. So we're going to bounce over that little joint, and that is at the saddle area, right next to the saddle area. So we would recommend that a CIPP liner be installed Also with a top hat liner, a cured in place piping CIPP top hat liner that will cover this saddle, because we can't lap this area. You can't go any further than approximately, get this down in here, go about right there. We can't go all the way to and overlap over that saddle area from running this side. A CIPP cured in place piping top hat liner is installed through the manhole area with a robot and pressed in from the backside through the city sewer. And then the one liner will lap over the other, and that takes care of it to where you don't have to excavate and replace piping in the street. So this is our city sewer tie-in connection right here. The city sewer tie-in connection appears to be in fair and maintainable condition from what we can see right here. We're kind of in a turn, so it's difficult to see it all 100%, but it does appear to be in decent condition. It's just that piece of pipe that has a major crack all the way from that area at about 3 o'clock area. It's kind of hard to see. As I pull back, you'll see it more. That's a pretty pronounced crack. I can't tell if that's a hole where it's dark or exactly what it is, but that's definitely a crack. So now we're going to pull back, and we're going to locate the area right at the vitreous clay to cast iron connection. It's fairly deep. Unfortunately, it has to be excavated at that point on the property to install the CIPP cured in place piping liner. Now we're going to pull back, and we're going to show the condition of the 4-inch to 6-inch vitreous clay connection again, and we're going to locate that area on the property. We're going to blow this up on our laptop as well. Back at the office, we're going to take a good look at that area where we have the crack. Just double check everything. Now we're pulling back, coming back. This is our cast iron to vitreous clay connection right here. So we're going to locate this area. We're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we've marked this area approximately 11.5 feet deep in the tile area of the driveway on the house side of the sidewalk. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna keep continuing to pull back. Got quite a bit of the buildup. Still got a lot of stuff in the bottom of the piping that we'll wash through. It's broken loose. These roots we pulled back with the jetter from the vitreous clay, and a lot of the debris in the cast iron is still sitting at the bottom, but it's loose. We tried to flush it out, but it just takes some time to really flush out well. It's pretty heavy. Now we're pulling back up and out of our mainline sewer cleanout. The camera's hanging so you can't see a whole lot. And now we'll conclude our video sewer inspection.